I'm Elaine, 18, senior, and I enjoy traveling and experiencing new cultures, so I think I could say I had one of the most exciting summers of my life this past year. I was fortunate enough to first go to Shanghai and volunteer at Shanghai Charity Foundation, and then I went to a separate region in China called Guangxi, which is right by the border of Vietnam. And then afterwards, I went to Singapore to meet up with my brother, and from there, we traveled to Cambodia, Malaysia, and Thailand, and it was such an amazing experience. We would explore, get food poisoning, but all in all, had an awesome time. But before we get to that, let's back up to the first part of my trip, Shanghai. I can use these. Like I mentioned earlier, I spent 6 weeks volunteering at a place called Shanghai Charity Foundation, and if any of you guys read my blog posts about that place, you'd think that I had an awful time there, bored out of my mind, and on most days that was partially true. The fact is I actually made a bunch of really good friends there. We had so much fun together during lunch break, and you can watch my SCF summer video to see some of our antics in the office. Also there, I practiced my translating skills, which I realized are kind of sucky. And I had the opportunity to travel around Shanghai and visit kindergartens of migrant workers' children. On the days that weren't too terribly hot, I would be able to convince at least one of my friends to hang out with me. The woes of being in a foreign country when it's too hot to go out. My friend Monwana and I hit up a bunch of places all over Shanghai. The first place that she took me was Tian'ai Road, which is basically a street with graffitied walls that have proclamations of love on them. And we took pictures of our favorite ones, and there were even some K-pop fans on there too, proclaiming their love for Infinite. And of course we had to leave our mark there too, so I scribbled on the wall. We also took a bunch of pictures with random things, like this postal box, and this Korean Italian man. Oh, and this guy, I don't actually know who he is, sorry. We also went to this awful modern art museum. Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate modern art, but we also went to Fuzhou Street. I'm not completely sure of the inflections on there, but we're just going to say that. It's basically a street filled with bookstores, and I actually don't have any pictures, I'm sorry. I had my DSLR in one hand and a cup of milk tea in the other, and it was kind of awkward taking videos like that. There was also a pretty cool toy store there too. She also took me to Dashilu, which is basically translates to University Street, and which makes sense because it's a road of cute small shops for the average university student. There were cafes, letter writing cafes, you write letters in them, cat cafes, and other miscellaneous shops such as decorating your own cakes. Of course, traveling wouldn't be traveling without food. I had to meet up with my cousin one time at a station that just happened to be where my friend lived. So she took me out for a snack while I waited for my cousin, and the air conditioning was a godsend. We ordered this mango thing, and it consisted of shaved-ish ice topped with mangoes and things that had like the consistency of dok or rice cakes, and it reminded me of pot bingsu, but it wasn't that great. Nevertheless, it was cold, we were hot, we finished it in minutes. I went to 2 different Japanese meat grilling places, and this summer was the first time that I ever had Japanese meat, and oh my god, it is so good. Definitely on par with like Korean barbecue. The first time I went with my cousin, and the second time I went was with another friend from SCF, and she was really into tongues. So we had a lot of ox tongue, and you know, the meat was good, but the consistency was a little weird. I could definitely tell that it was tongue. It's like just, imagine chewing your own tongue. Afterwards, I was really full, but she insisted on getting dessert, so we were in a mall, so we went to a place called Honeymoon Dessert, which I've been to before with my aunt, and it's this place of desserts that are deceptively bland when you first eat them, but then after a while they just get progressively more and more sickeningly sweet. But they look good, don't they? A 10 out of 10 for presentation. At one point my aunt felt so guilty that I couldn't go outside because it was really hot. Like, I kid you not, it was really hot. She took me to Jing'an Temple, which is one subway station away from SCF, and why do I know that? Because Manuela wanted to go there after work one day, and she was like, walking down those stairs to the subway station and back up is way too much work. Let's just walk to the next subway station. It's only one stop away. We spent the next hour and a half walking there. Right by Jing'an Temple is Fudan University's hospital where my mother used to work, so my aunt took me there and we like checked out her old workplace. And then we walked and walked, took the subway and then walked again to the Oriental Pearl Tower, or Dongfang Mingzhu. I didn't actually take a picture of the tower, but you can see in its reflection in this picture I took of a neighboring skyscraper. We went up and up into the space capsule thing, and we had to wear these shoe covers so we wouldn't ruin the floor. The view from the high is always amazing, and I love Shanghai, so I spent a good chunk of time just walking around, looking and absorbing the view, and also sitting down to take pictures. Lots and lots of pictures. Apparently there's a roller coaster inside, according to one of my friends on Facebook who goes to NYU Shanghai, but I didn't see it. But we went to the museum. There was a museum and I liked the museum, so here I have some pictures of the museum. We ended that day at one of my favorite places to just contemplate life, the Bund. It's really pretty. I've been there a bunch of times, so I didn't actually take that many pictures. Yep, so that's it for the Shanghai video. Part 2 will be my trip to Guangxi, and then I'm not exactly sure how I will split up the Southeastern Asia part of my summer, if I'll just make one video or I'll split them into smaller chunks, but we'll see. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Alright, thank you guys, bye!